Good morning and what is up, and welcome back to the channel. The other day when I did my oil change, one of the things that I forgot to do was to do a tire rotation. I usually do this about every other oil change, and I change my oil right between 5,000 to 7,000 miles depending upon how much hard towing I've done, which usually is not much, so I try and usually do it about every 7,000 miles on my oil change. I do run, the Hot Shots Secret full synthetic, so you can go just a little bit longer with that. I did see where AMSOIL actually has an oil out now that is a once a year change for the diesel truck application. So not something I really want to get into, just basically letting you know some different information that I heard of. When I'm doing my tire rotation, I also use this time to inspect brakes, see how they're wearing, see if they're getting close. There is squealers on most of them, but when you're doing this, it's just a good idea to take a look at it and see how close they are. You can do a visual inspection, see how thick your pads are, check your rotors, see if there's any grooving in your rotors. I do need to do my wife's vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and do all new all new rotors and brake pads on her car. When we were on vacation, we actually were up and down quite a few hills, and I noticed there was a lot of pulsating on the wheel when we would brake. So that tells me that the front rotors, one, both, or a combination of are warped. So whenever you have that wheel shaking, whenever you brake hard, that would tell you a good indication that the rotors are warped. So I'm going to do an upgrade on her car. I'm going to go with a drilled and slotted rotor on her car. Her car is the Hemi. It's the RT Max. So it has every option that you can think of, even heated and cooled cup holders, if you want to believe that. We couldn't when we purchased it. Anyway, like I said, I found a company online called A1 and A1 Auto, and I'm going to pick up a kit that they have. It is all 4 rotors and all the pads that you need for all the way around, and they are the drilled and slotted. So it's just a whole kit that they offer to do your vehicle. So grab a light and we'll do an inspection on the brakes. And then also, I'll show you too, while I have tires, everything off, it's a good idea to do all of your greasing, because you can get to your certs pretty easy. I've got grease certs on all 4 locations of my link bars. I'm not gonna get I'm gonna get a hold of Carly also and see about getting some rebuild kits for the ends, because last time I greased these, I was having a hard time getting a couple of these to take grease. Now, my jack stands won't go up high enough to allow me to jack the truck up, unless I would jack it up, take the tires off, bring it down, and allow that suspension to completely sag and take all the weight off of it. I have not tried that yet. So and if you could see right here, there is some like rust running down this side right here. So that tells me there's not much grease in this fitting right here, in this joint. So I want to try and get with Carly and see if they offer a rebuild kit for these link ends. I'm pretty sure they do, because if you look inside there real close, you can just barely see a snap ring. So that tells me that these ends are rebuildable, hopefully, that they have kits. And we're going to see if we can basically get some kits off of them, see how much they are, get them sent, and then we'll get these control arms rebuilt too. So as far as brakes, you can see that pad right there is in really good shape, and you can look in like one of the holes right there, and that back pad, you can see there's a lot of life left on that one too. One thing I have noticed, I thought it was the passenger side actually. When I'm running down the road, I hear that, and I thought it was coming from the back, but it's actually coming from the driver's side front. What that is the dust cover is rubbing on the back of the rotor. So I need to stick a screwdriver or something there to try and bend that down. It's right above the anti-lock sensor, so I'm gonna try and get that bent down so it's not rubbing anymore and annoying the heck out of me. And then on the backs, be the same way to do an inspection. Now this back driver side is getting kind of low. I don't know if you can see that in there. So we're going to have to think about doing brakes on the back side before it gets too stupid cold. That back pad, that one's getting pretty low back there too. So we're going to have to do brakes on the rear before too long. But other than that, just a good idea while you have everything up, the tires out of the way, just to walk around and do a good visual inspection of all your suspension. Make sure everything is in good working order. Make sure everything is tight. As your vehicle gets a bunch of miles on it, you know, things can vibrate and come loose. So just a good idea to check everything. Also, while I'm rolling around, I'm seeing different things that I'm not real happy with as far as my local body shop. I'm gonna have to have a little discussion with them and see why a couple of things were missed. I was in a hurry to try and get some of the things done, so you know, it could have been partially me rushing them to get things done. So you know, I'll give them the opportunity to tell me, you know, why this wasn't done. So as I walk around and do see the back of the bed, it just makes me want to save money and get the whole front of the truck painted also. It just, you know, that bed does look so good all painted up and looks nice. There's just some things underneath as far as covering up some welds and stuff that they missed. So I'm sure he'll take care of it, no big deal. I washed it off yesterday, and you can see anytime you wash it, you get all those lines on there on that faded part where it's taking more clear coat off. So just I'm itching to get the rest of it painted. You know, there is one thing that I keep forgetting to show you guys. Since I got it back from the body shop, I did take care of something that I was working on. This accident happened, and that was the easy tailgate, or the tailgate assist. So I did get that taken care of and done. Now, one thing that you are going to have to do, this clip, I think I showed you in that video, this tab right here is crimped or peened over on the inside of your taillight housing. You just got to take and grind that off and knock that out. And then I took a bolt, oh, I'm not sorry, I took this piece here and I had a nut and put on it from the back side, and then drilled a hole and put that nutsert in on that side there. I basically had to go through and do all my adjustment myself. On the true third gens, which is what this kit is actually for, is a 2002 third gen 1500. This must thread in and out. So all I had to do was basically take and grind and take this out, put a nut on the back side and tighten it up, and then it worked for a second gen application also. But I was pretty happy with that. I thought it was pretty cool. So that's just one of the things that I have had done that I keep forgetting to show you. When you're going through and greasing everything, any place there's a moving part, there's going to be a greaser usually. There is some universals that are greaseless. My front drive shaft on my universals have greaserts along with the slide portion of that front drive shaft. That front drive shaft it slides in and out of each other right there through a joint. There is a greasert on that too, and what that's for is as your front axle articulates and moves all around, it allows that drive shaft to slide in and out. My rear drive shaft has no universal or greaserts on the universals at all. They're a greaseless universal, and it does still have the carrier bearing. One thing that I am exploring is putting a solid drive shaft in from tail shaft to differential. It's just a little bit stronger unit than having, you know, that carrier bearing right there in the center like that. I don't know. They did it. It's proven to work for, you know, just street application, but for the amount of horsepower that some of us are pushing, you know, that is a weak link from transmission to rear end. So it's just something I'm thinking about. I don't know how much they cost. I haven't really looked into it yet. It's just kind of in the back of my head I'm thinking about. Also, while I have my back tires off, I went ahead and sprayed penetrant around this outside edge. That way, when I do have to do the rear brakes, which is going to be in the near future, maybe that's broke loose a little bit, or I can get this beat off just with like a dead blow hammer or a rubber mallet or something like that. Because I don't want to have to buy rotors, because it looks like there is a lot of surface left on these rotors yet, so I will be able to just have them turned. Both sides look really good, but I don't know what spec is on them. I'm just doing a visual inspection and looking to see how much surface is left from here to here and then from here to here. So that's one of the things that, you know, is the costly part, is having to buy new rotors, especially the back, since they house your emergency brake. And also, while you have this apart, it's a good idea to go ahead, and you're going to have it off anyway, you may want to go ahead and change out your emergency brake shoes also. Since mine is a standard transmission, it's probably something that I'm going to want to do, just because whenever I get out of my truck and I have it running, you know, you got to leave it in neutral, so therefore you got to set your emergency brake. So while I do have mine apart, I will be switching out the emergency brake shoes also, and then probably have that surface cleaned and turned also. So right now I'm going to get my tires back on my truck. I got to go get some fuel and go take care of some other business. So for today, I think that's going to pretty much do it. I appreciate you watching very much. Hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.